We're here at the 2012 Perspectives Speaker Forum. This year's speakers will be former Vice President Dick Cheney, former President of Mexico Vicente Fox, Arianna Huffington, Howie Long, and the President and CEO of Change Labs, Peter Sheehan. We're here with Roger Nilo, the CEO of the Sacramento Metro Chamber. If you could let us know about this upcoming 2012 Perspective.
Where do I start? I mean, we've got Dick Cheney, Arianna Huffington, former President of Mexico Vicente Fox, football player Howie Long, and maybe somebody that people haven't heard much of, Peter Sheehan, a young business author and consultant who is a dynamite speaker. He's going to blow people away. It's a great event. People are going to walk away from here being so filled up with information that they're going to feel really good about it.
I like the aspect that it seems like you pretty much got everything covered, from a Republican to probably more of a Democrat side, to an athlete, to a motivational speaker, or actually a corporate speaker.
And the international hook too. President Fox was the first president, non-PRI party president of Mexico for decades, and really began a move of reform there that seems to be having some positive effects on their economy, which is very good for us too.
I like that aspect when I was reading about him, that he lived in an area where he might have been well-to-do, but he knew a lot of people that were in the poverty, so he had that first-hand perspective.
That's right, and so I'm really looking forward to hear what he will have to say in terms of how he thinks the two presidents, himself being the first one of his party to serve, and now the PRI party coming back into power, but being a little bit different party now because of that influence. I'm really going to be interested in hearing what he has to say.
Well, I'm waiting for a good show, and I know I'm going to learn a lot. I think the people here are going to learn a lot in aspects of business, life, and just in motivation.
Everything, that's right. It's a full program by design.
Well, I want to thank you for bringing this here, and look forward to seeing a lot more of these shows.
Thank you.
I'm so glad that all of you came out to join us for what we know will be another beautiful day here in Sacramento. You know, as I was walking up the street this morning, I thought, what a beautiful morning. First day of fall is going to be on Saturday. And you know what it is? It's a Chamber of Commerce Day. Today, Chamber of Commerce continues to be the leading voice of business in the region. We are a pro-business organization whose overall mission is to help create a regional environment that fosters prosperity where businesses can flourish and jobs can be created. This mission has many areas of focus. Over the years, the Metro Chamber has been the leading advocate for better flood protection in the Sacramento region. We also advocate for better transportation, improved air and water quality, better performing schools that can produce more qualified future workers, fewer job-stifling regulations, and lower taxes for our residents and businesses. The Metro Chamber organizes networking events, conducts free educational sessions for our members on such topics as properly preparing a financial statement, obtaining business financing, and effective social networking. We also advocate for more civic amenities, which will continue to make this region more attractive to companies considering relocating here. Work of the Metro Chamber is never fully done, but we do have our share of victories, and we always work tirelessly to support our members' best interests here in the region. On behalf of our professional staff and the hundreds of volunteers of the Metro Chamber, I want to sincerely thank you again for your attendance here today and your support of the Metro Chamber and our events. Now it is my pleasure to introduce Tom Sullivan back as our MC. Please welcome Tom Sullivan.
Well, hi. We've been doing this a while, haven't we? My goodness. This goes by so fast, I can't believe. I mean, it's been a year. The woman who runs this whole program, I looked on my text messages. The last time I texted her was September of 2011. So every year we go by. But thank you. I'm very pleased to be invited back for this year. And the thing about this event, for those of you that have been here before, welcome back. For those of you that are new to the event, it is a unique event, and I'm so glad, so glad to see that this is a full program again and a full room, and thank you all for supporting the Chamber and for the Perspectives program. But it truly is a one-of-a-kind event. I mean, this is world-renowned speakers that come here and kind of let their hair down with you folks and let you know what they're thinking and what their view is of the world. So it really is a pleasure to come and be part of this event and listen to these speakers. It's like nothing else that you will find. So full lineup this year, good. We've got a full lineup, and as usual, you know, there's a little to the left, a little to the right. There's a little bit of everything for everybody, so unique viewpoints. Would you please welcome Bank of America's Kathy Soa. Kathy?
Thank you, Tom. It's so great to have you back and host Perspectives again. Bank of America Merrill Lynch has been a proud sponsor of this great event now for more than 10 years. I'm excited today to be here to tell you about our first speaker, Peter Sheehan. He's established himself as a highly successful entrepreneur as the founder and CEO of Change Labs. Peter works with some of the world's leading brands like Apple and IBM in the areas of innovation and change. Recognized internationally as a leading business thinker, Peter's insights into business trends and the changing needs of customers have made him a regular presenter on Fox Business. He's also had appearances on ABC and the BBC. He's advised executives at many large companies. It includes Google, Goldman Sachs, Hilton Hotels, Harley-Davidson, and GlaxoSmithKline. An author of 6 books, including the international bestsellers Flip and Generation Y, he focuses on teaching leaders how to flip their thinking, make money in the cracks, and find opportunity where others cannot. Please join me in welcoming this unique and inspiring speaker whose ideas and experiences are changing the face of the business world, Peter Sheehan.
Morning, or g'day, as we would say in the very deep south. As I prepared for Perspectives, I was looking at some of the findings from the Next Economy research that had been done by the Chamber and other various places in the Sacramento region, and I was reminded as I was looking at some of the strategies that were going to come out, and I know that's going to be announced later in the fall, but I was reminded of a piece of research we did at Change Labs a few years ago where we went back in time and looked at industries, we looked at communities, and we looked at companies that were dealing with change. And if you think about the political landscape, not just nationally, but here locally in California, if you think about the fact that Sacramento has had its share of challenges, let's not lie about it, dealing with a tough economy, although you're still a $100 billion economy going places, right? You think about the investments you're making in life sciences and health and ag and food and advanced manufacturing, it's probably fair to say that we are going through a period of change. Would that be a reasonable statement, yes or no? So one of the reasons we did this research was to look at who profited from, and I know a number of you aren't in the private sector, but let's just say did well out of the opportunities presented by change. And one of the earliest examples we found was quite similar to the Next Economy research that's been done in the region, and it was in the city of London, as in London, England, 1901. We found in our research a strategic plan, an economic development plan for the City of London from 111 years ago. And here is what they were dealing with. Here's what they did. They got the smartest people they could find into a room for 3 days to develop their plan. They had politicians, they had members of the royal family, they had entrepreneurs, they had academics, and they were dealing with, as a city, one significant issue, and it was population growth. And after 3 days, the collective geniuses had figured out 3 major things the city would have to be ready for come 1925. Could you imagine how cool it would be if things changed so slowly? You had a 25-year strategic planning horizon. That would be nice, wouldn't it, right? Anyway, so just imagine, you're the mayor, you run London. What do you think in 1901 was on your mind? This, by the way, is the bit where you're allowed to get involved. You're all just sitting there like, just teach us something, kangaroo boy, come on. No, seriously. You run the city, you're the mayor. What do you reckon's on your mind in 1901? Infrastructure. It turned out that infrastructure was number 2 on their list. The first thing on their list was actually transportation. They estimated in their report that based on population growth, they'd need 1 million new horses to get people around. No, seriously, right? Now, if you have 1 million new animals getting around downtown, you've got a whole lot of other problems that you now have to deal with, and infrastructure, whoever said that, was number 2, specifically related to hygiene. And the third issue, isolated, this was the top 3, was real estate prices, which I thought was interesting. But their theory was, as you house that many animals that close to the city, they would take up all available land and drive property prices through the roof. Quick question. How relevant was their strategic plan come, say, 1905? Park that for a second. In our research, and I know AT&T, I think, in the room and sponsored part of the event, we found an interesting example from AT&T as well. In the late 1980s, early 90s, they hired McKinsey & Co. to do a strategic, not a strategic plan, a feasibility study. Here was the question they asked. If AT&T were to sell 100% of phones in 100% of the world's markets for forever, cell phones this is, how many cell phones could they sell? And the report came back at 900,000 units. I saw you out in the lobby. This room will probably use 900,000 phones by the time we're done.
He succeeded in achieving the lowest unemployment rate in all of Latin America. Since joining El Partido Acción Nacional in the 1980s, President Fox's political career has seen a swift upward climb. He served as a federal congressman for the 3rd District of Leon, as well as Secretary of Agriculture in an opposition cabinet. In 1995, President Fox became governor of Guanajuato. In that role, he promoted economic development, and under his leadership, Guanajuato became the 5th most important Mexican state economically. And in fact, in certain productive sectors, it even surpassed national averages. In his autobiography, Revolution of Hope, President Fox outlines a new vision for the future of the Americas. A leader with deep understanding of the economic and social challenges facing Latin America, President Fox is one of the world's most important voices on the contemporary geopolitical landscape, as well as the role of business in a developing world. It is my pleasure to welcome Vicente Fox.
Muchísimas gracias, buenas tardes, buen provecho, bon appétit, salud. Thank you all. Thank you all for giving me the opportunity to chat with you a few moments to speak about different things that are going on around the world today. And at the same time, thank you for giving me the opportunity to listen to you, because we're going to have a Q&A session. And for leaders, it's most important to listen, maybe much more than talking. So let me start by saying that I'm very pleased to be here in Sacramento, California. A very Spanish name. Just a few days ago, we celebrated in Mexico, Central America, and a large part of South America, our independence. Independence that came out just a little after independence was done here in the States. So when President Washington, or Washington, the leader of independence, was doing his work, Padre Hidalgo was doing the same in Mexico, out of Dolores Hidalgo, in the state of Guanajuato, where Martha and I come from. And by the way, here's Martha. Let me send her a kiss, a big kiss. Because all what we do together. We dream together, we work together, we have our purpose in life together. And maybe there's nothing better than that, to go hand with somebody that you share with those dreams, and that is totally committed in reaching them. So this is the time 200 years ago when Padre Hidalgo was in Guanajuato, where the first presidential library ever built outside of the United States is. It is at Rancho San Cristobal, close to the city of León, on León's International Airport, just a couple of hours from here. But it was not only Padre Hidalgo in Mexico, there was also Bolívar, Sucre, O'Higgins in Chile. And so we all decided to become independent. We all decided to become free. And we all believed in the so-called American dream, which better said is the dream of the Americas, because it's our same dream in Mexico as it is in Chile, or as it is in Guatemala, or Salvador, or anywhere in this continent. That's the dream we share. And we share it very close with a great state like California is, 7th largest economy in the world. And we share that dream also with this great city of Sacramento. And I see here plenty of leaders, thousands of leaders. Imagine the power that is in this room, because leaders have endless power. We have that power within to do great things. And the greater those things, the more heroic they are,
I went there at 220. We kicked off, I was 265. So the 16-year-old high school senior became the 17-year-old freshman in college at 265. Villanova was a challenge academically, socially, and financially. In the 70s there, unfortunately, my father left home when I was about 9 years old, was homeless in the town for a period of time, was raised by a number of loving relatives, namely my grandmother. And when the busing riots hit, she made the decision that it would be best to get me out of the city and out to a town called Milford, Massachusetts, out by Foxborough. And my Uncle Billy had been the first member of the family to live the quote-unquote American dream and make it out of the city and move out to the suburbs. The only problem was times were tough financially. Uncle Billy worked in the projects. My Aunt Ada and Uncle Billy had 2 kids of their own. They had adopted 2 kids in addition to that. So needless to say, the purse strings were very tight. And the older I get, the more I appreciate the sacrifice and that whole family had to make, both my uncle, my aunt, and my 4 cousins. It was then, I hadn't played in organized sports at that point. It was the middle of the way through my sophomore year in high school. High school football coach, second day in school, sees me walking down the hallway And, you know, here's a kid, 14 years old, 6'3", 210. Who are you? Like most high school coaches, eyes would probably light up. Only problem was I hadn't played football. He asked if I wanted to play. I said, sure, I'd give it a shot. I was a little out of place socially, financially to a certain degree. It was kind of a middle class to upper middle class neighborhood. And once again, being challenged financially was part of the deal. Dick Corbin was the coach's name, and he ended up playing an instrumental role in my life. And that day I can point to as maybe the day that my life turned in the right direction. Started playing football. As I said, food was at a minimum at the house. As I said, my uncle worked in the projects. He'd come home on the weekends, paint houses. And there are a lot of stories just like mine from NFL players around the league. So I was a big person waiting to happen. And the only way that I could possibly get to college was with a scholarship. Grew to about 6'4", 220 in high school, and ate a lot of macaroni and cheese. I'm not sure the price of macaroni and cheese, but at that time I remember things like butter and sugar were a high price item, and there wasn't a lot of that, and the kitchen was literally shut down at 6 o'clock. So I get a scholarship to go to Villanova University, and they give you a meal card. First meal card I've ever had. You get the 3 meals a day free, and I said, wait a second. So I just take the meal card, and I walk in the building, give them the meal card, and I can eat free. I eat 3 meals all summer, every day, start working out. I went there at 220. We kicked off, I was 265.
We're here with Elliott Williams. How was your first 2012 perspectives?
You know, I really enjoyed it. It was a good opportunity to listen to a wide variety of speakers and hear some perspectives on what's going on in the world. And I thought it was a positive experience all around.
Was there anybody that surprised you?
You know, actually, yes. Andrew Sheehan was a great young perspective to listen to. He had a lot of good ideas on how to think about success and the world and addressing problems. But it was also great to listen to Howard and Dick Cheney as well, get some of that older perspective, and I thought it was a really good mix.
So you think you'll be back next year?
If I get a ticket.
We're here with Richard Farler at the 2012 Perspectives. How was the show?
Good. It was excellent, actually. I think that the Dick Cheney speech was awesome. It was awesome. It really was.
Was there anybody else that surprised you?
The surprise was obviously Peter Sheehan. I think that he was dynamic, and he had some very, very good perspective on things in general. Very, very good.
So is there a lot of things you're going to take from this and apply it to your business?
I think you can always take something from somebody and make it work. So yeah, a lot of stuff. I'm going to go buy his book right now, actually.
Okay. Well, that's 2012 Perspectives.